Hello and welcome to our session today with Dr. Jenine Beekhuyzen. My name's Jacquie McDonald and I work at the University of Southern Queensland, so we're pleased to welcome you here today, Jenine. I have a very short bio I'd like to share. Dr. Jenine Beekhuyzen is a social entrepreneur who's changing the world. And Jenine and I have worked together over a number of years, and she certainly is, and her story will be just so interesting today. She's the founder of the Tech Girls movement, TGM, a non-profit movement that inspires girls into science, technology, engineering and maths. So the focus is on the STEM activities and moving them into careers and empowering schoolgirls to grow their futures. The TGM is working to create a workforce capable of building the technology for the future. Jenine has produced Tech Girls as Superheroes 1 and 2 and Tech Girls are Chic. The free books have been received widespread success with 50,000 copies distributed to schoolgirls across Australia, which is a wonderful achievement. So Jenine, could you tell us a little bit about the Tech Girls movement and why you consider it so important?
So the Tech Girls movement, I guess, started as a bit of a passion project for me, and it based on myself being one of a few girls in my own information technology degree, then teaching at university and having very few young women in my class at university, and then talking to industry people that, particularly in the tech industry, that the industry wants to hire a diverse workforce. They want to have lots of different ideas on the table, which only happen with that diverse workforce. Yep. But yet we just don't have the pipeline of young women coming through to actually take up those roles in the industry. So, as I said, for me it's been a bit of a passion project, which has turned into something much, much bigger, particularly in the last 6 months. And it's based on years of research that I've been doing, and for me, I feel that if we have more diversity in our tech workforce, we're definitely going to have better technology for all of society, and we will all benefit from that.
Thank you. And the sort of impact that the Tech Girls will have on the community?
Now that's a good question. So for me, it's all about community and to give young girls, young women confidence around technology so that they feel they can actually contribute something useful to the workforce and to society. Mm-hmm. And young people can't actually make that happen if they don't have a community around them. So whether that be their family, their school community, their friends, their peers, and also now the Tech Girls movement, which is we're trying to create a sisterhood of women. So there are a lot of tech women out there doing amazing things. We just don't see them very often. So trying to give them access to those kinds of women and feel that they're actually part of something bigger than just themselves. And it's okay to like tech, it's okay to love tech. It's okay to want to spend time building tech, and we want them to come and join us.
Right. Now, in your previous session, the USQ Salon series, which is also available online, you talked about creating a kind of culture so that girls, well, the tech girl movement, so that girls understand what it means, those careers, but also how the culture can be quite chilly for girls coming through in those career paths. Could you expand on that a bit more?
Yeah, it's a really great question, Jackie. Now, this is one of my little pain points, I guess. So I find myself in a position where I'm trying to encourage young women to come into STEM industries. But to be honest, STEM industries aren't a great place to work at the moment in a lot of instances. So there is a lot of unconscious bias. There is a very unequal playing field if you look at things like the wage gap and sort of returning to work and those kinds of challenges that women particularly face. And so I feel like I'm kind of stuck in this position that we need women to come in, so we want to encourage them, but then I'm encouraging them into an industry that's not that great in a lot of ways for women. So that does bother me quite a lot, but how I reconcile that is we're never going to change the industry if we leave it the way it is, and we need more women to participate. And so most of the women that are there at the moment, actually, there's something different about them, that they're willing to put up with those challenges and push forward despite all of those barriers. What we need to do is make it more accessible for all women. And once we get a critical mass of, say, 30% of women in the workforce, then structures will start to change. So unless we start to get that critical mass, things won't change, structures won't change. So no matter how much we encourage our young women to be awesome and be innovative, they're going to get to that glass ceiling and they're never going to get any further with the structures we currently have. So we need to be working on multiple levels, not only empowering young people, but then also changing policy and structure so that we have a better industry for them to come into.
Okay. So your research, which is kind of the trigger for all of this activity, the outcomes are the tech girls, and I'd like you to in a minute, share the competition you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But you're talking about having a critical mass and changing that culture. So you're pushing and putting a lot of energy into the girls and schools and building that critical mass. Are there activities and things you're finding in your research that will support and help the women that are already in those industries?
Great question. I think the key to all of this is confidence. Mm-hmm. So I think the women that we have in tech at the moment, there is even though they may not feel confident every day, they have imposter syndrome like we all do, thinking, why am I doing this? Am I good enough? But I think there is that underlying confidence and, of course, expertise that they feel they can push through. And so I think that confidence runs quite through to young girls as well, so that they're not getting involved partly because they don't have confidence, and the boys often push them out of the way, and it's really not worth the effort. So I think it's about giving them those positive messages from very young. And I have 3-year-olds that are obsessed with the book. Now, that just blows my mind in that they walk in the door, they love the characters, they carry this around like a doll or whatever it might be. Not to use a stereotype, but anyway, we all fall into it, as we say. But just having something other than princesses to look up to, and having other kinds of heroes, essentially, and maybe not superheroes only, but just having other ways. And I think even for women, we all have something like that in us. And so one way I'm tackling that issue to bridge the gap between young women and women in industry is through the Search for the Next Tech Girl Superhero, which I think you were hinting at.
Yes.
So with the competition, the Search for the Next Tech Girl Superhero, we have women in industry actually mentoring girls in schools. So we have, I think, 125 or 6 teams at the moment for girls across Australia participating. So that's nearly 500 schoolgirls. And each one of those teams is actually matched with a mentor, so someone that works in industry. And I guess what this experience has shown me, of course, I didn't expect to have so many entries, like 125, but I have had to put the call out for mentors. And it's been amazing the sisterhood has actually got together to help me and to come together and want to pass that information back on. And the motivations, I ask everyone why they want to be a mentor. And some of the reasons around it, it's all because I love tech. I love doing what I do. I want to share that with other young people. And that passion comes through incredibly. So hopefully that passion will get our young girls interested. They're already interested. Let's keep that momentum going.
Okay. So if someone was watching this interview and thought, I'm in industry and I'd like to be a mentor, or I'd like to find out what's involved, how would they do that?
Absolutely. So everything's on our website, so www.techgirlsmovement.org. Now, our competition, the registrations have closed for this year just because we had to close it at some point. Yep. We extended it quite a few weeks. So we are still looking for judges for this year. So that will happen in August. We'll judge our teams and announce our winners. We're having a showcase event in Brisbane on the 18th of September this year at QUT. So if you want to come and be part of that and share your experiences with our young audience, that would be wonderful. And we're also running a similar event in Sydney on the 29th of September, I think. Check our website anyway.
Yeah,
but next year we will be launching the competition again. We'll start on the 8th of March, International Women's Day. We'll launch it for our 4th round. So we would love to have as many mentors as possible involved. So please come and join us and share your experience.
Thank you. And the outcome, the journey, where does it go?
Ooh, good question. I have absolutely no idea, but I'm really excited to find out. And I think what I've learnt through all of this and being an entrepreneur is actually much like doing a PhD, funnily enough, I've learnt. Now, as you know, doing a PhD, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Right.
You have to get comfortable with not knowing what's going to happen next and just believe in the method and the process and that things will work out. And so I think that's the best lesson I learnt from my PhD. And now being an entrepreneur, I find I'm on a roller coaster again. Some days are awesome, some days are horrible. That's just life as when you put yourself out there, that happens. But again, being comfortable, I may not have the funding that I need, but knowing it's on its way and I'm doing everything I can to make it happen. So I think it's... I've had so many crazy things happen in the last couple of years. I mean, meeting royalty and going to San Francisco, doing all this great stuff, which I could never have possibly planned. And sometimes that makes it almost nicer that you haven't planned it. And I think being open to opportunities and put yourself out there that you are willing to try new things, and then the universe generally rewards you for that.
Yeah. One of the things we're going to talk about is the challenges, which you've been kind of covering just in that discussion. Is there anything else to add there?
Challenges for the Tech Girls movement?
Yeah.
Well, I think the number one thing is funding. I mean, it's always the number one issue, and it's the thing that we don't like to talk about, but we have to talk about it. Yeah. For me, this issue is not really my problem. I mean, I have a successful career and I don't have to be doing this, but it's about getting workplaces and the tech industry particularly to invest in this, because it's really about creating the workforce that they need. So I think it's up to government particularly, policy, but then also organisations to actually put their money where their mouth is in a way and say, we want to do something, here's an actual program that's working well, let's invest in it and let's just grow something that's actually working and let's not reinvent the wheel. So we'd love to partner with anyone who's got the passion that we have.
And from when you started working with our Go West at USQ, which is Go Women in Engineering, Science, Technology, and you came as our guest speaker and
gosh, how long ago was that?
Oh,
must be like 6 or 7 years ago.
We had books to put in our resource packs that also went out to schools. And one of our focuses was regional and rural women. Is there any initiative that reaches out? I know you said they're going to all the schools in Australia, which is amazing.
Yes.
Do you have any special initiatives for rural and remote women?
I'm working on a couple. Now, I guess the competition is actually designed to be fully online so that it can reach anyone who has an internet connection and a computer. So it really, and the mentors can be anywhere. So for instance, last year we had one of our superheroes is in Singapore working at Facebook, and she was mentoring her team in Sydney or in rural New South Wales. So the design of the program is really to allow anyone to join, but particularly regional girls. I want to get involved, regional and rural, because they often miss out. The cities get everything, and I mean, I live in a big city, and I know I have access to all of that, and a lot of young people don't, and so it's about giving them the same experiences so they're not disadvantaged by actually not living in a big city. So I think the program is designed in that way so they can get involved, and we want as many regional girls as possible.
Great.
To come and join us.
So you might be in School of the Air, but you can still participate in the competition.
Absolutely. You can get matched with a mentor. We've got your 12-week program ready to go. It's already designed. It's all freely available.
Great.
Nothing to stop you coming to be a superhero.
Yes. And then the rewards of the initiative of Go West.
The Tech Girls, Tech Girls movement.
Sorry,
no, that's all right. No. Well, that's it. And Tech Girls movement builds upon programs like yours that you've been working on for such a long time, and that's so very important for me to see people like you doing what you do, so that I feel that I have the confidence to do that. So you inspire me, and you're welcome. No, absolutely true. And I think the rewards speak for themselves. Seeing young girls' excitement and just seeing them just feel it's okay to love technology and just jumping in and having so much fun with it, trying new things, getting it wrong, trying again, and just seeing that they feel that they can actually do it. And it's just when the penny drops and they go, I can actually do this. What you say, I can do this. I can actually do this. And when you see that transformation in their thinking about the world and what their abilities are, that's all the reward that I need.
Yes, great. And so the technology is not just for boys, it's absolutely for girls, and creating that culture, and your Tech Girl initiative is capturing that.
Absolutely, that's an outdated sort of view that it's just for boys, and why is that? I mean, it's not like it relies on any kind of physical capabilities, and and our brains are the same. So I mean, if you think otherwise, no, they're actually the same. But certainly, it's about the nature-nurture debate, and it's about giving girls access quite early so they get used to it, and it's normal. It's what we do every day.
Yes. And you did mention in a previous session about the changing jobs and employment possibilities, and so I think the Tech Girls and girls going into technology and STEM area, where that is the growth industry, and we definitely need those brains and opportunities for girls.
Absolutely, and there's there's such a variety of roles in tech or in STEM that if you don't like it, you can change, but there's a role for everybody. So you don't have to be purely technical. You do need to understand technology, but you don't have to sit and code every day. I don't code. That's not what I do. And I work as a designer, or I work as a project manager, or as a change manager, or there's a whole bunch of different roles that you can take on that aren't just technically focused, which I think that's a bit of a stereotype, that you do have to sit and code all day. And certainly there's a whole bunch of roles, and it takes all types of people to work in tech. We need all of you.
Yes. Okay, so we hope we get lots of people.
Come and join us.
Yes, and the webpage, lots of resources, lots of ideas, lots of links. So thank you very much, Jenine, and your work is an inspiration. Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie. That's lovely. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.